Hi, everybody. Good morning. How are you guys today? So, what if I told you that breakfast being the most important meal of the day no longer stands true? Yeah, I know. A lot of you are laughing and you're like, what is going on, right? In fact, it seems that most of the nutritional dogma that we've been raised with seems to be outdated according to the new studies. Now, amidst the thread of the pandemic, how can one be assured to consume a balanced diet in order to fight the pandemic and build immunity? Let's listen to some answers untold and clear the myths and doubts about nutrition in COVID 19 while we throw some light on intermittent fasting, and that seems to be the trend. Hello, everyone. This is Fiza Taj, and I'm a founder of Real Physiotherapy and Wellness Clinic. I'm a physiotherapist. I work here. And today we are in conversation with the very lovely Pooja George, a gold medalist and weight loss expert. Let's add her.
Hello.
Hi, Pooja. Good
Hi,
morning.
hi, Fiza. How are
How
you
are you
doing?
doing today?
Doing well.
Okay, that's lovely. I guess with a little bit of struggle here and there and
Yes,
connectivity
we
issues.
had some technical glitches, but I'm happy that we are finally able to connect.
So, yeah, we are here then. Let's get
Yeah.
started off with tell me something about yourself, Pooja.
So basically, I've been in the healthcare industry for over a decade and have been pretty passionate to see how we could improve the quality of life, everyday living through simple practices. And I've been researching this through and through, because there seem to be a myriad of fads that keep coming. And everyone seems to get confused at the plethora of options that are being given. So, what is
Very
that
true.
one quick and easy fix to ensure that we're all living the right life, we're making the right choices, we're passing down the correct thing to the next generation and stuff. So that's what started the entire journey. And I've been practicing for helping people, especially with medical conditions, lose weight in a very scientific and systematic manner. So that's where we've evolved with through food.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's nice. I mean, that's the definitely the need of every hour, not just now.
yeah,
Like we've been
yeah.
struggling with food, our habits, and our mindful eating and everything else. Because honestly, if I have to talk about me, I can really exercise, but something that I cannot do is diet or get into a good pattern of thing. So it's great. Like this, I'm doing it a little more for myself and for everybody else, apart from spreading awareness. So let's start with one thing. See, intermittent fasting seems to be like the new fad, right? Everybody has been
Yeah,
doing it, including me. I mean, even I enjoy it because it's convenient for me just to skip breakfast and call it intermittent fasting. Just
yeah.
tell us something more about that.
So, intermittent fasting definitely seems to be catching up a lot of attention, and a lot of people seem to be trying it out as well. Now, see, there are two theories. The main
Mm-hmm.
premise over intermittent fasting is that you're not using your carb reserves because you're not going to be consuming carbs. You're going to be allowing your body to get its energy source from fats and proteins. Now, that is good through ketosis. That is good as a concept. However, the only disclaimer here is that it hasn't been tried sufficiently enough, and there haven't been sufficient studies of enough longevity to
Mm-hmm.
establish this is the best course of action.
Okay.
Now, does that give results? Yes. In a lot of cases, it has been shown to be giving good results over weight loss. Now, the point again, even before we get into intermittent fasting, the main question to ask is whether weight loss itself, is so important to begin with. We
True.
understand there are
Yeah.
matrices around obesity or where you are on the higher end of the spectrum of being overweight. But a little bit, a 2-3 kg here and there, because I get a lot of people coming in even for a 2 kg reduction, even a 1 kg reduction. So are we getting over obsessed with this whole premise?
I mean,
So
2
that's
kg,
where
1
we need to
kg.
first
Okay,
start out
that's
with, I
something.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to ensure that there's a balance in our perspective. It is important, of course. Weight, you should have proper weight, and that includes having your muscle mass in place. And you definitely need fats. You definitely need carbs as well. So
Definitely.
yeah, so the question first that we need to address is, are we being over obsessive? If not, yes, if there are some people who are in the category of being extremely overweight, borderline obese, all of those, yes, they could go to trying such drastic measures of intermittent fasting. Also, in cases of, we know the population, the elderly, or be children, or being lactating mothers, or pregnant women, this is definitely not a good route to go through.
Of course, yeah.
The third most important criteria here is, are we looking at sustainability? It's all nice to say that I'll skip my breakfast. But
Yes.
are you a person, are you a breakfast person? If you are a breakfast person and you're going to thrust it on yourself that no, from tomorrow morning I wake up and I'm not going to have breakfast and do this whole thing, I don't think that is the right way to go about. Each one of us have our body constitution that's different, and there are various parameters over weight loss. If it was just this magic pill of nutrients, then all we could do is put zinc, magnesium, selenium, everything into one magic pill and pop it up, and then all of us were good to go. But
Absolutely.
unfortunately, that is not the case. So what
Mm.
we need to do is we need to take a little bit more balanced perspective over this, is where I come from. I'm not dissuading anyone from trying it out. I just feel the manner in which you need to do it, you should do it in consultation with somebody who knows your medical history, who knows your lifestyle a little bit better, and then you can make some more wise choices. Also, I would like to propagate that there are a lot of people who consider their own body like a guinea pig and they keep experimenting over different fads.
Yeah.
I am not at all for that. Your body is not an experimental design place. You
I
need
think
to
that's
give.
where all this hair loss and body fat loss, sagging comes in, right? When you experimenting
Yes,
so much.
yes. See, because it is not a good practice to kind of shock treat your body through different things.
Absolutely. Yes.
So it's just a matter of giving your body some time, some space, allowing it few incremental changes. See whether, okay, say if you're a person who wants to go ahead and start trying this out, it might make sense for you to possibly, if you typically have your breakfast at 9, try and take it by about 9:15, see how your body reacts to it over a period of time, 9:30. Gradually see whether it works for you. You don't have to prescribe to it because Angelina Jones is doing it somewhere.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from. It
That's
might
true.
work for her. See, it is, and our body is also a conglomeration of the kind of genes that we inhibit, besides our
Absolutely.
lifestyle, of course. So we need to take those factors in place. And sometimes not stressing over this is also a very great way of losing the weight.
Yes, I've seen people like telling me that, I stopped just dieting and I lost weight. So, or I
Yeah.
just stopped everything and I don't, kind of started losing weight. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, because see, the whole premise, no, I have my background in rehabilitation. So in rehabilitation, we help people rehabilitate towards whatever are the common goals. The objective, what we are trying to do here is, A, of course, there is nutrition science involved, but there is a lot of behavioral science as well. So we need to understand what our body craves for or what our body needs. It's not like only dark chocolate is good. It's not like I
True.
can never have ice creams. But everything needs to be done in a moderate and balance. And that balance is what we are missing today. And that's what we
Thank you
should
for
try
just
and see.
removing. Thank you for just removing my yesterday's guilt because yesterday I just indulged myself into this Sunday and I was like, how could I do this like every other day? So you're saying it's okay,
Yeah,
sometimes to give in and like
yes.
eat, but in
It's not
moderation.
about giving. It is about you wanting to have something. It's not bad. Sugar is not bad. Carbs is
Okay.
not bad. Somebody has rice and then they tell me, oh, I had rice today. I should have just stuck to my, you know, uh, maybe higher fat options. Did I make a mistake? All those kind of queries keep coming in the head. So the main premise here is no, it's not. None of these are to be demonized by themselves. The key is balance. The key is moderation. The key is selecting what would work for you over a long term. And also, let me again reiterate the point that carbs is essential. You are right.
Right.
It may not be required in the quantity that we Indians are currently consuming. Now, what has happened is we are used to bowlfuls of rice, especially in South. That's because we were predominantly an agrarian community till about the early 1960s, 70s. Most of our ancestors were in an agrarian era, and they had a lot of hard physical activity to do on the fields. Now we can't continue that same kind of portion sizes, sitting in front of laptops and going and traveling in cars everywhere, not even walking a kilometer, some of us. Whereas the previous generation used to walk everywhere, maybe 5 and 10 kilometers as well.
I mean,
So
it's then common sense, like basic logic. So if you're consuming that much, make sure you have that kind of physical activity. So if you're this high,
yeah,
activity person, it's okay to consume those extra carbs. But if you're not, then where
yeah.
is all that carbs getting stored, right?
Correct. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that we should totally negate and call
Hmm.
carbs is the problem. Oh, rice, because we South Indians eat rice, or because we Indians eat a lot of rice, that is the problem. No, that is not the problem. We need to do
Yesterday I
things a
didn't eat
little bit
rice, so
more.
my stomach looks in.
Yeah,
I can.
yeah. So people just go on this whole guilt trip. Or maybe I should have only brown rice. Or maybe
Yeah.
I should just have millets. No, it's fine. You can eat what you're comfortable with, you eat. Just ensure that your portion sizes are appropriate for what activity level you are engaged in. You might be engaged in a higher level of activity, which might warrant you to take a little bit more of energy source from carbs. That's fine. But we need to see, and what age demography are you in? What gender are you in? What phase of life are you in? Menopause, post-menopause,
Yes.
where are you? So it's not a one size fits all.
Yes.
It would be
Very
easy
true.
if it were that.
One, a quick question on intermittent fasting before going to the next question
Yeah.
is my personal question. See, can you consume? I mean, it's so told that like if at all you're trying this for a while, can you consume anything under 50 calories, or you just have to completely fast?
No, I think it's better you try out a variation. Again, it's not uh, uh, one calorific value. See, because the issue with calorie is you can consume a lot of calories without getting the sufficient nutritive value there. Okay. A case in point is your debate around the sugar and jaggery. So some people tell, let me take jaggery, my calories will be less. Some people are having only, palm sugar. Some people are having artificial sweeteners. So many concoctions around this. But the fact of the matter is, okay, you had the sugar, you've taken some calorie, it's fine. Both are sugarcane at the end of the day. But jaggery is giving you some more nutritive value along with that calorific value.
Yes, that
So
is
you
definitely
need
my
to
question,
see,
which we will elaborate on soon.
yeah,
We'll
yeah,
save that for now. I really want to hear that. Now,
yeah.
let's quickly get into this because we are in this entire pandemic, and we really, I mean, there is no other choice. We have left with no other
Hmm.
choice but to increase our immunity right now. We are
Hmm.
almost there. It's like a threat to all of us. So, how can one boost the immunity in these given times?
See, immunity again is not something that will be done as a quick fix. That today I start eating this balanced diet and tomorrow I will get immunity. No, it
Yes.
doesn't work like that. Immunity is again a mix of factors of your diet, your exercise, your sleeping patterns, your stress coping strategies, and your behavior in general. All right. Now, in that subset, if we take nutrition, what could you do better? Let's take that. Now, for going ahead and improving your immunity, you would require a conglomeration of things like selenium, you would require iron, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E. So
Yes.
all of these factors are important. Now, how do you ensure you're going to get this in the right quantity? Again, the key is you will need to take foods from different food groups. So you will need to ensure that there is leafy vegetable. There is some kind of protein source. If you're a vegetarian, you could bank on, a fair mix of legumes, as well as if you are a non-vegetarian, you could take some kind of protein source from meat or fish or other seeds that are available. So it depends on what kind of diet you're predominantly comfortable with. So you need to ensure all of these subgroups with some amount of carbs as well, because there is some fiber that is required in your body. See, long term without having carbs, it can create a lot of ramifications, which no one has further delved into. So you need to have all of the subgroups of the Indian typical balanced meal that has been propagated through generations and centuries, and which has worked for our body type, our physique, our Indian physique. So we need to keep that in mind, but also ensure that we have the right amounts of it based on what is our requirement basis our lifestyle. That's what I'd like to highlight.
Right.
But
So it's
yes,
like,
if your question is around should I take additional supplements, see, there's another paradigm also here. If I could go ahead and prescribe, okay, have about at least one portion of, say, say spinach. Now, spinach is grown in a variety of conditions.
correct.
Ideally, it depends. It's getting its nutrient from the soil source, unless and until people are growing it through hydroponics, where we can be a little bit more clear in terms of what are the nutritive values involved. So there was a study that was done around Brazil nuts like this only in Brazil, where they found the same Brazil nut had different quantity of, the mineral portions in it,
Hmm.
based on which region it was cultivated in.
Right.
Hence, it is not a direct fix that if I have this, I get this. Hence, our requirement on supplement. Because we need something additional to just ensure that we are getting the food, the nutrients from the food in the right quantum. So during
And
this
also,
time, especially, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, also there's so much of abuse of supplements going on, because I see that even kids have been, prolonged use of, supplements are going on, and multivitamins are being taken more than 3 months, where it's preferably told that after 3 months you stop your multivitamins for 6 months and
Correct.
then restart, because people are so scared. There's overuse of turmeric water, there's overuse of
Yes,
garlic.
yes, yes. Yes,
So,
that is not required. Yeah, that at the same time, yeah, good you brought that point up. When
right,
we're telling we have to go ahead and supplement and stuff, we should always check with the healthcare provider, because it's also evidence of what other diseases that you may or
that's
may
true.
not
Yeah.
have, and what drugs you are taking, and what could be the interactions through all of these, whether you are already getting calcium through some other source that might have been prescribed to you. So if you're not clear on those metrics, it's always better to just check in with your consultant. But this is the whole premise around it. However, if we were very sure about what is the nutritive value, where, if this was a lot more customized, generalized across the various geographies, it would be easier for us to tell, okay, fine, then you go ahead, if you take this, this should suffice your requirement for the day. That.
Right.
So
So,
yeah, this.
example, now the need of the hour, we say, is the vitamin D, and then we need iron, of course, for all reasons, vitamin C and zinc. Now, how can we
Hmm,
get that in our foods apart from, of course, sunlight? We need to get vitamin
hmm.
D to our food. We need to get iron, through our food, and zinc, and of course vitamin C as again, like immune boosters. So, how can we just look at simple foods from our kitchen that we can include in our diet on every single day to just boost
See,
this?
correct. So what you could possibly be doing is, one is eggs, okay, which is available. Uh, if you are an egg eater, then yes, having that with your daily breakfast is a huge boost to giving you about 2 to 3 of these requirements in a go. Also, the other subcategory is having leafy greens. So when we're telling leafy greens, we don't have to necessarily bank on things that are being imported. What is locally grown can also be used. And a good quantity of what is locally grown, if you have a decent portion size of it, should suffice your requirement, more or less. But why we are talking about additional supplements again is because there is a huge gap in terms of where these producers are coming from.
Okay.
That's the only key. But
So, you would
otherwise, more
suggest
or
that
less,
locally grown
local
food.
grown leafy vegetables, locally grown vegetables, it's best to go. You don't even have to go it out the to an organic store if you're a kind of person. Of course, through lockdown, we've not been able to travel a lot, but just even an hour away from Bangalore, there are plenty of farms. There are a lot of startups in this space where they're allowing you to, have a small piece of um, produce on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, shipped to your home. Maybe if we invest a
That's
little
actually a
bit,
good idea. Yeah.
yeah, we invest a little bit more in terms of consuming healthy rather than on our medication, it might be a wiser investment.
Yeah, great. That's a good idea, actually. We can connect with the local farmers, and why not give them more work rather than being,
Yes.
the consumers of everything that's available. And of course, we've been getting a lot of, I mean, even when we get those mangoes, we got it, connected to people who are actually growing mangoes in their farms. And then so we know that it is completely organic, because then you go back to thinking, okay, this organic is authentic at all or not. So just connect yourself to people who are locally growing these items. If at all you
Exactly.
have that little extra time, put that extra effort and give them some. Yeah, it's a great
Correct.
thing
And
to
there
do.
are also platforms that are now serving as agglomerations of all of these farmer pools. So
Okay.
maybe you could even connect through that. Or if you're a kind who are a social butterfly, can just do a little networking and find out what is
Right.
locally grown, then yes, of course, why not?
Completely makes sense. So, yeah,
Yes.
we were just thinking of a lot of people getting into, of course, intermittent fasting was one of that, and crash dieting. Let's talk about
Yes.
crash dieting, immunity, and the pandemic in relation with each other. Because,
I am
yeah,
not at all a proponent of any crash diet. See, the whole thing is you are unnecessarily meddling with your system through any kind of crash diet. What can be done if you tell me not intermittent fasting? You tell me I'm fasting for a couple of hours, in on a specific day. Okay. If you go to see history also, religious functions had some fasting periods. Now that is also good from health perspective, although they may
right,
not have done it from a health perspective.
right,
There are studies that are showing that giving our digestive system that rest seems to be a great boon for our health system. So yes, so what we could be doing is we can take maybe one day in a week where you want to choose to do an intermittent fasting, so to speak. Uh, but the rest of it, I doubt whether you need to adopt a lifestyle where you are totally omitting a specific meal, um, and trying to restrict yourself and really craving for food, and at the same time trying to pump in and get your work done. I don't know if that additional stress is really worth it from a calorific standpoint.
So you would say that, okay, you can go ahead and do, intermittent if you really want to. It's good to rest your digestive system, detox your body, but do it with phases, or maybe do not do it every single day. Maybe leave a few days and
Yes,
then eat your
yes,
breakfast on the days, and
yes.
is what you're saying.
See, especially I would rather suggest, especially for a person who is working and doing, like if you're somebody who is not into a lot of activity, then it might be fine to still do an IM. But if you are somebody who has a lot of deliverables through the day, you need energy, or you might find yourself snapping, you might find yourself getting, tired, irritated. Instead of all of those emotions, which are again going to get stress hormones released in your body, you might as well
That's true.
eat that banana or eat that or drink
Okay.
that glass of milk. We are not going to save a lot in terms of, you know, saving up and reducing kgs. See, the whole metric is, why are we trying to lose weight? If longevity is the plan of it, you want to live longer, you want to live healthy, then you also need to have quality of life. You can't be
Right.
always killing your body and telling, don't eat this, don't have that, count everything,
Correct.
keep a track, but it shouldn't be down to the very lowest kilocal that,
Yeah.
okay, this is how
Yeah.
much I have. No, that kind of an obsession, I doubt, is required to it, because
Yeah.
I have seen with most of the clients, we are able to do it happily. That is very essential. This happiness quotient is also a very important aspect in the whole realm of things. It's not only
So you're
about weight
saying
loss.
you need to be comfortable with what kind of pattern of
Exactly.
diet you're getting into.
See, because it makes sense. Only then will you be able to embrace it and live with it.
Very true.
There's no point in crying
Fighting over
your
it.
way to health. You cannot cry your way to health at the end of the day.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
that's very right. So,
yeah.
if we have to put everything together and just think of a good balanced meal in a day, according to you, what would it be? Keeping in mind, of course, weight loss, health, longevity of, and of course, I
See,
mean, it's not fit
it
for
is,
everybody.
yeah. See, it would vary based on where, see, in a country like India itself, it would vary based on which region you're coming from.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So, yeah. But more or less, it is wise for you to stick to those food types that you have grown with. Okay. The reason is your body readily accepts it. You have
Right.
lived with it. Your body has learned how to absorb nutrients from it. And also from your taste buds perspective, you will crave for what you have grown with, right?
Yes.
So it makes sense to go to those food groups and then have it in a lot more sensible meal portion size. That doesn't mean that you have to stuff yourself every 2 hours like a baby. But at the
Right.
same time, when you have, you need to ensure that you have all of those categories of food portions. So if we talk in a typical Indian context, you have your, if you're having your morning breakfast with say a dosa, then try and have it maybe with an egg curry or something like that. So you're getting some protein as well.
Hmm.
Not like have dosa and just have the plain dosa and go, or have just one bread slice with that coffee and go. No, then you're not actually getting the benefit. So if you're having, have it like a balanced meal. Like if
So
you're
for a
talking about,
vegetarian, it would be like a, dal or whatever portion of
yeah, or a
protein.
dal, yeah, you have it with that sambar. That sambar is
Hmm.
important. So
True.
you don't skip on the sambar and just have the dosa, in a jiffy and run away. So,
Right. Right.
or yeah, or some people do what, they have the chutney like a sambar, which is also not required. Chutney is a
Right.
chutney, yeah. So chutney, even coconut chutney is tasty, but it is a huge portion of it. If you're going to have it like a sambar, then that's going to be detrimental again.
That's true.
So
Yes.
it is having that sense of what should be required for your specific activity level. That's very critical, and also having activity level is very, very important.
High. Yes.
It's not
So we
that I
can burn.
just, I don't eat at all and then I will lose my weight. No, I won't do any activity. No, that doesn't
That's true.
work. Your body to just function well needs a specific amount of activity, and it's not
So
restricted to your half-an-hour walk.
tell me, do you
I don't
believe in
know.
this
Everybody thinks they're
70%?
happy with a half-an-hour walk, huh?
Do you believe in this 70% is diet and 30% is workout?
I think about, yeah, I think about at least anywhere in the 70 to 80% maybe diet, but
Oh, okay.
at least 20%. Yeah, but 20% is your I don't call it workout. See, that's my problem. It's not workout alone. You need to have activity. You can't be going only to the gym and working out and telling,
Yes.
okay, now I'm healthy. You need to have basic activity. You need to go open the door. You need to go take your glass of water. You need to do mundane chores that come in your way, because if we outsource
Absolutely.
everything,
Yes.
then we are going to get our muscle mass quite rigid over a
No, that
period of
makes
time.
complete sense. I guess that's all of us, need to understand that exercising is just not working out. Exercising
Working out.
is also
Exactly.
burning calories with daily chores, with every single
With
thing that you
daily
do on
chore.
every single day basis.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Right.
that
So a
is
typical
very
plate,
critical.
then, so if I'm looking at my plate in lunch or dinner, it should have carbs. Of course, we've, going back to the
Yeah.
second, third grade of what is a balanced diet, you will have your carbs, your
Yeah.
fat, and, and whatever basic quantity. But just
Hmm.
up your proteins and try to include a protein in your breakfast is what you're saying, apart from just a carb. And
Yes.
what about
Yes.
lunch and dinner?
So lunch and dinner, again, if you are comfortable with it, then you could start with a small portion size of fruit, and then go to having your rest of the uh, your meal plan, just with each of these food groups as you mentioned. So if you are a rice eater, you can have some rice. If you are a chapati eater, you have some chapati, and have larger quantities of green leafy vegetables, colored vegetables along with it, and maybe a dal, maybe any other like a gravy portion. No, you could go ahead and take that gravy portion as well. It could be just even a category of say mushrooms or things like that, if you like that variant of vegetable, because some people don't consider it as a vegetable. But basically, you need to have all of these, because, and even your pickles, yes, some small portion of pickles, because it is going to give you very good probiotics that's required for your gut microbes. So you
Okay.
need to. that variety, even having that salad in place, a small salad base is very good. So I know why I'm not going through this entire series for each one is I know in our regular lifestyle, plating it this way is getting difficult. So if
Yes.
it is a matter of practicality which is getting difficult, at least try and stick to having a carb source, a protein source, and two vegetable sources. Minimum two
Okay.
vegetable. Have at least one green vegetable source and a non-green, like not a leafy vegetable, a non-green source. So at least try to get to that if we are not able to fill it with more variants. So the key here is when you have all of this, it's easier to decrease your carb source. The problem what
Okay.
happens is when we go ahead and cook sometimes, or when we are serving at homes, we go ahead and keep the carbs on the higher side and we don't take enough time or we do not prepare the vegetables in huge quantities. So everyone dips on the carbs more and
That's
doesn't
true.
end up getting as much of the vegetable. So
True.
if you feel even getting two vegetables out there is difficult, start with one. That's fine. But we need to ensure that when we are plating it, we're getting more of the vegetables, the fruits.
So
Start.
again, coming to that, actually my next question was that. So if you're looking at eating the fruits, consuming fruits, what is the right time? They say either 1 hour before food or like little later after food. Don't mix fruits with your food. Never have fruits in the night. What is the actual, idea of A, when is
See,
the right time to
fruits
eat
is,
fruits?
hmm.
And B, nuts. Very little, if you can tell us what's the right time to have nuts and fruits.
See, again, some people are more comfortable consuming nuts in the morning where they keep it overnight soaked, which is good. It's a
Yes.
good practice. Yeah. But some people find that they get a vomiting sensation out of having that in the morning. So if that is the case, then don't go with that.
Okay.
You can have nuts even over a 10:30, 11 break. A few nuts. Again, nuts also, if you overeat, you will get cholesterol.
Yes.
So
Okay.
there are
Right.
people who think, oh, nuts is healthy and I'll just go on with almonds. No, it doesn't work that way. You need to have that in a not more than a fistful. Like if you're having badam, not more than 4-5 is required for your
Very true.
nutritional requirements. Yeah. So you need to have that sense of what is that balance and what nuts you like. Based on that, we can do a mapping of how much would be fine for your requirement, especially if you have certain nuts that you prefer over others. But
Right.
having said that, your question of whether you should not have that fruit, no, you don't have to think so much deep dive into it. You have to
Okay.
just ensure that you are having it at least, uh, have at least two servings of fruits during your day. Now, if your body is allowing you to take it, say at like a 4 o'clock snack, go ahead, take it. If you feel no, at 4 o'clock, I feel acidic after taking it, like having just the fruit or something, it's making your system uncomfortable. If you're more comfortable having it after food, give at least some gap after your main meal, and then maybe you can about half an hour or so go ahead and have it. Now some people like to have a plantain in the morning, because I remember in Bombay a lot of the workforce would survive on plantain. There's no much time to go and prepare a whole breakfast, which is good. It has got good amount of potassium, it has got good amount of fiber. It is a good fruit, it's a sweet fruit. So some people think, oh, it's sweet, so I shouldn't eat it. No, it's not something to run away from. It's very healthy, very nice. You can go ahead with it. So it should also be based on what your system is accepting. There is no specific thing that, oh, I should not be having it after or whatever, before the meal, as you said. There's no problem in having it before the meal. The only thing is you need to give some amount of, it should not be like you end up eating only the fruit. Like some people tell, oh, I had only fruits for lunch, and they're very happy about it. No, it's not that you're going to go ahead and then, if you're going to finish off a bowl of bananas in a in one single sitting, that's not where we're coming from. So that if you think you are a very fruity person and you will end up having a full lunch only on that, then don't do it that way. You try and you pace it according to where you're coming from. Yeah.
I'm going to ask
So
you a fun
we see
question
a
because
mix
I
of
see.
people. Yeah, we see a mix of people and what they habituated with. Like sometimes when we tell people go ahead and have a mango, the next day they tell us we had 7 mangoes. You know, so it's
Okay.
like no. So the idea is that you cannot go and just go all out there. You need to have a sense of where is enough. But is mango good? Yes, of course it is good. So
But in
or is there,
abundance.
yeah, in to what extent, you know? So this is where I'm talking about balance. That is important. And at the same time, in terms of this timing, we don't have to freak so much about it. I would rather want to spend more time on how we are eating our food. That's
Okay.
more important. It's not good just sitting in front of your computer system and having your food. You have to get up from the
Absolutely.
chair, go to the table, and then ensure that you are getting that at least that time to sit and have your meal. Even though I know now in nowadays fast-paced life, it's difficult to prescribe that you should take half an hour or to sit and finish your meal. That's fine. Even if you're not able to do it, as a good first step, please get up from your laptop tables, keep the laptop closed for those 10-15 minutes, and then sit on a table, get out of your room, go to the dining table at least and have your meal. That's a good starting
It's like
place.
absolutely, it's like, the satiation versus the hunger. Because you get
Yeah.
so hangry, which is like hungry because of, you're angry because of hunger. And
Yeah.
satiation comes only, I've been reading about meditation books, and I've also learned about, eating meditation. So you really need to look at the colors, give it that 2-3 minutes. It's not going to take so much of your time of the
It's
day.
time.
Just look at the, meal, smell it, soak it in, and then indulge. So a lot of us have this like, okay, fine, let's just finish with it and leave. But no, give it that once, 1 minute or
Correct.
at least half a minute of pause, look, breathe, eat, enjoy, and then move, right?
It is about having all your five senses stimulated, actually.
Absolutely. I agree to
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
you enjoy your meal
that's
so
what,
much more.
yeah. And also, if there is time for a quick conversation, why not?
Definitely. I mean, they say
Over a
a
meal,
family that eats together stays together.
stays together. Yes.
I
So it's
completely,
a good,
totally believe in that.
yes. So it's a good place to, especially over your dinner time, if not during lunch, at least to take some exclusive time cut out only to maybe chat and, that way.
It's a feel good
It's good.
factor.
Yeah, it's a feel good factor. And a lot of this nutrient absorption is also part of a lot of our feel good hormones being released. So if we are in
Okay.
the highest of stress and we are going to be having avocados, I don't know how much of it is getting absorbed. So
Absolutely right.
it is not just about, the food source. That's why our human body is it's a complex conglomeration of how each of this is assimilated into the body.
No, that's a very good,
And
great thought to like, leave the viewers with that. You need to really understand what you just said right now. So the next
yeah,
question, quickly, let's get into, jaggery versus sugars. And jaggery, is that okay? Of course, the nutrition value is high, but how much is okay? Because honestly, I totally bake my cakes with no sugars, no maida, no butter.
yeah,
Most of the
yeah.
time, because, it kind of helps because I have kids at
Hmm.
home, and
Yes, of course.
if they want sugars, then this is a good alternative. So, do you agree that jaggery is a good alternative, or is there any other good alternative? Definitely no stevia, because that's like, sugar free, and
Yeah,
it has a lot
yeah.
of cardiac issues in future. So, your
See,
take on it?
jaggery, of course, yeah, jaggery, of course, is a good substitute, I would say. But having said that, I am not among the proponent of if you have like just a small teaspoon of sugar in your cup of coffee that you take once a day, it's going to totally, uh, you know, get you bloated up. No. Or increase in size. No. Uh, Having said that, if you are looking at food portions that are traditionally made, like let's take a puran poli, for example, which is made with jaggery, then please go ahead and have it with the jaggery itself. If you are making a traditional cake, you want to substitute, see, any of these items that came about processing, mass production, where we have increased our sweet intake through maybe donuts, chocolates,
Yes,
cake, all of those have to be had. Whatever you do, you put jaggery into it, you put sugar into it, is not something that is recommended in a very on a very large scale. Let's just say
On
even
every other day base, like once a week, or
yes,
if you
yes.
again consider that as a good cheat meal, that is yet okay, is
See,
what you're saying.
I don't think even once a week. See, the problem is that we think that okay, let's go ahead and indulge. But indulgence should not come only from that once a week factor. Indulgence can happen based on what is the occasion. Like suppose there is a birthday, there is something that has to be celebrated. Then maybe as part of that you could have that entire thing going. It depends how many of you all are there
And
available,
indulgence
how
can
many
happen how many
friends.
times in a week? Tell me that. How many
Yeah,
times in
see,
a week
see,
can we
doing
indulge?
doing that kind of a bifurcation is a little bit dangerous. I'll tell you what could also be done rather than going ahead and baking big cakes. Another alternative way of looking at this whole thing is how much of that cake are you having? So if I'm talking about, say, a small half a kilo cake, all right, of that half a kilo, if you're cutting about say 6 or 7 portion sizes, or 8, let's bifurcate it into 8 sizes, then maybe just a slice is sufficient for a week, for if you are looking at it from what can I do from a week craving thing. But what typically happens, or what I have seen happening with a lot of clients, is that this also happens and that also happens. Additional, um, whatever celebrations that go on, because we don't want to say no to somebody. Or it could just be because of heavy stress, somebody wants to take it as a comfort food. So
Totally.
when I go ahead and I prescribe it like this, a lot of the times what happens, it factors it. So that's where I have stopped telling do it only like over a weekend cheat meal. No, there is no more weekend cheat meal. You have to be conscientious of what your body is talking to you. Is it wrong for you to find solace and comfort in something like this once a while? It's fine. But what is the frequency of that can only be mapped when you are being monitored over it. And if you are going to be constantly having this in your mind, you're going to be monitoring it. I have noticed that a lot of people tend to dip after a couple of months in terms of self monitoring. If you're good at that, great. But otherwise, going with this modicum that, okay, fine, over a weekend, I will have, maybe 2, 3 slices. That one slice becomes half a slice more, one slice more, things like that. Then then that's where this balanced food comes in, because you would have already had so much and you would feel a lot more satiated. So when you feel, you have to learn to listen to your body as well. When you feel satiated, then you will be able to say enough. You take a child, you the child loves chocolates, the child loves sweet, but after giving a full meal, even if you give 2, 3 pieces, the child will say no, I'm full.
True.
Because the child is not worried that, oh my god, am I going to get it tomorrow is not my cheat meal day, then I cannot have it tomorrow. Those kind of questions are not
So you're
going in the
saying,
mind.
I mean, go ahead with whenever you feel like, listen to your body. Okay, if you really feel like doing something today, indulge in it and be done with it. Then don't go back to indulging in it every other day, justifying.
Okay, let me rephrase in that case.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that you need to learn to listen to your body on when you are feeling hungry and when
Okay.
you are feeling satiated. When we go with norms like this, that I can have this, my cheat meal is only on a Saturday or only on a Sunday, you tend to overdo it drastically because you feel the next day you cannot eat.
Right, right.
So I am trying to break that psychology here. I'm trying to tell it's okay. Even if on a Monday you had something little extra, is fine. But the key is, have you learned to listen to your own body? So
Okay.
if you're, yeah, so then your body will tell you, even if it's a Monday, and if you're not feeling that hungry, like you don't want to have something more or a second serving, you will automatically say no to it. But if you have
Right,
not learn to listen to your body,
right, right.
that
I
takes
agree.
time. It takes practice. It takes time. If you're going to be that, okay, food is my vent, food is my source of, uh, you know, uh,
Happiness,
what should
sadness,
I say? Yeah, yeah, source
emotional
of
outbreak.
getting any, yeah, joy or happiness. Then you are going to just go ahead and overindulge every time you see
Okay.
it. But if you look at it that, okay, it is also required, you do have some amount of time. You can live to eat or eat to live.
Right.
So so you need to see where you want.
Makes sense. I guess we've just lost Pooja, but thank you, Pooja. I don't think you're watching. I guess you have some connectivity issue. Thank you for having, coming over this live conversation. So I guess I will end it now. Take care, guys. Thank you for being a part. I hope this has been educational for you. See y'all.